Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. How's everybody doing today? It's nice to see all your smiley faces, and we're getting closer and closer to the weekend. I know you guys love the weekend. And of course, we're here on the weekend as well. We always have multiple episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Hard to believe it's been somewhere over 440 episodes we have done live 7 days a week for all of you here on our program. It's absolutely amazing. Thanks to everybody for all of the Instagram messages, the Facebook posts, the tweets, and the YouTube comments as well. They make a world of difference. As you guys know, I work in this industry as a television and radio personality, presenter, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, voiceover artist. Been doing it for a long time. And we wanted to sort of extend that into the internet world with this show, the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, where we are bringing back the lost art of conversation. Amazing guests who've been coming in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, and so much more, with shows just about 7 days a week live. And what's amazing is this isn't even my day job. This is added to the schedule, and we're loving every second of it. And meeting so many of you, our loveties. Loveties are people who really watch all the time, and they support the show by sharing the links and watching and commenting and just being here with all of us, part of our Lovety family. And Lovety came really out of my mouth by accident when I was saying the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. I know you guys say, don't say by accident, Jim. It was on purpose. You were meant to say that. And my hair length, of course, used to be like his. This is shows you how long the pandemic has been going on, the length of the hair. Thanks for all the great comments. You guys like it. I know my professional work, they've been liking it too. So that's a plus. Hope you guys are doing well. Again, we always say everybody's welcome, regardless of your income, your eye color, your weight, your height, your political views, religious views, how much money you have in the bank, your zip code. None of that matters here on the Jim Master Show Live. You're all welcome to join us for some inspiration, some levity, and lots of interaction. Our viewers call themselves the Loveties, part of the Lovety Squad. They have dubbed me Mr. Lovety, which I think is really, really cool. And they talk amongst themselves too, I think, which is really nice. They really are so gracious. Oh, that's all of you that are watching. While you're there, as a matter of fact, on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, so many of you have subscribed to the channel, and we thank you so very much. If you haven't, we would love it if you did subscribe to the YouTube channel. As we continue to grow and build together JMS, the Jim Master Show Live, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the channel you just happen to be watching right now. We try to make it convenient for you. It's Jim Masters TV. Click that notification bell as well so you don't miss any of our live episodes of JMS, and also the pop-up shows that we do. We do so many incredible pop-up shows where it's just you and I, where there is no guest. It's just you and we talk about anything. It's the host, lovely viewer interaction that I know you guys love, and we're going to be doing another one of those real soon. So while you're there, subscribe to the channel. We would love it. And if you're enjoying this episode, give it a thumbs up, like on our YouTube channel, and be sure and leave a comment for us as well. We would love that if you could leave a comment right there underneath this episode. Hello, Lovety Squad. Good to see you guys. On today's episode, we are welcoming relationship expert and psychotherapist, licensed marriage and family therapist, the wonderful Dr. Anabelle Bugatti is here live from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. That's right. We were talking just before we went live on the air about the various places we've lived, we traveled. Turns out she and I went to the same university in New York. That's right. The same college, same university, same probably dorm rooms and chairs and classes and the food vending and everything else the same. They're in New York, Long Island University, great school. And I got to get back there. It's been a little bit since it was a couple of years ago. We went and we visited the campus, and boy, they've done so many incredible things with the campus. It was great when I was there too. I was on the radio station. I was president of the debate team in college, worked for the feature writer for the school newspaper, and involved in a lot of activities. And but they've expanded the university even more. And it's really Cool. She is a fellow post toasty. And there's a story behind that. It's tied to the cereal. And good to see everybody. Let's check out with some of our lovelies and say hello. Of course, over 440 episodes of our series, The Jim Master Show Live, are all archived on a YouTube channel. So if you've missed anything or you want to go back in time and see some of the great episodes, check it out on our YouTube channel. They're all there for your enjoyment. In Cleveland, Ohio, Kathy Short, one of our great lovelies, is here. She says, hello, Jim and lovelies. So nice to be here with everyone tonight. Good to see you, Kathy. Sherry Larson in Kansas is here. She says, hello, everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful day. Absolutely. Even better now that you're here, Sherry. And Wozniak is here from Jacksonville, Florida. Hello, Jim and lovely family. Happy Wednesday. Love and hugs. Good to see you as well. And Mary Bishop is here. Hello, Jim and lovely friends. Good to see you, Mary in Florida. Juanita says hello, Jim and lovely squad from South Africa. She's always here as well. And Alessandra is here, North Carolina, USA. Good to see you as well, Alessandra. Hope you're doing well. Maureen in Arizona, who works in the medical field as a nurse. She says, good Wednesday evening, one. I am almost on time. We started the show a little late. We were waiting for you. We didn't want to start without you, Maureen. You're brewing one heck of a storm there in Arizona, huh? I hope you don't get the flooding you had before, or one of those famous Arizona dust storms. I've never been in one of those, but when I see the video on the Weather Channel or YouTube, it looks intense. Looking forward to tonight's conversation as well. Yes, we're going to be talking about love and empathy and family and friends and kindness and respect and all of it. Plus, our special guest, Dr. Bugatti, also has a new book out too. We're going to be featuring on our show. You're very welcome, Maureen. Good to see you as well. Hot where you are, 100 degrees. Wow. It's 76 degrees, light coastal breeze here. We're in the greater New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area for those watching around the world and along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. And we've got like early fall-like weather and it's beautiful. Kathleen Walker says, hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. Needing the lovity. Well, you're going to get lots of it on this episode. As always, Kathleen watching and walking. Kathleen Walker walking and watching in New York City. And the fact that she's there means that my team, the New York Mets, are not playing at home tonight because she works for the Mets and she's here. So that's a good thing. And Linda Odell in Florida, St. Augustine says, looking awesome tonight, Mr. Levity. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Alessandra in North Carolina and Jane in Sweden. They're like, do not cut the hair short, like the hair long. Okay, I will see how long we can go with it. I'm actually enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. It's the longest I've ever had it in my life. And we did it during the pandemic. Hello, Jim and gang. Ready for the show tonight. Good to see you. Carla is watching in South America and Brazil. She's always here as well. And Juanita, love the weekend and love your shirt, Jim. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Juanita, where I know it's late there in South Africa as well. And of course, Jane is here. Hello, all lovities and Jim. Jane is watching in Sweden and Linda in Florida. Good evening, Mr. Lovity. Good evening, lovities as well. And everybody that's watching and all those who will be chiming in. You can comment live during the show. And again, it's so nice to see everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. We always love when we gather and we get together. And we're going to be getting together with our very special guest, Dr. Anabelle Bugatti. As I mentioned earlier to you on the show, relationship expert, yes, and psychotherapist, licensed marriage and family therapy therapist. And she is somebody who is very busy, and she certainly has her hands full with the work that she does. She loves what she does too. She's very empathetic. She really cares about people. She and I were actually having a great conversation comparing notes. She loves Mystic, Connecticut. And if you've never been there, that's a very beautiful area. Absolutely beautiful area. You know, on this show, we talk a lot about empathy. Matter of fact, a lot of people have described me as a high-level empath. So I'm going to be loving this conversation. Empathy, you know, according to Psychology Today, is the ability to recognize, understand, and share the thoughts and feelings of another person, animal, or fictional character. And developing empathy is imperative to survival, and yet one of the most underrated abilities that mankind has in its arsenal of skills to deal with life as a whole. Now, in addition to her private practice as a licensed massage therapist, I say that because I know a lot of massage therapists, and that word just flows right out. Marriage and family therapist. Dr. Bell, as she's affectionately known, specializes as well in using her expertise in attachment to help CEOs and corporate leaders and businesses with their personal distress. So as you can tell, she's been very busy during COVID and so much more, as well as doing workshops and consultations and executive coaching as well. She's releasing her second book, which is Using Relentless Empathy to Connect with Challenging and Difficult Clients. You might want to take notes because it probably also bleeds into difficult people in society. Uh, it's really, really cool. That book came out and has been really fantastic. She's been featured on television shows, Good Day and Street Talk and more. She's a well-loved and regular expert on relationships, love after divorce, the intersection of politics and mental health, and lots more. She completed her PhD in couples therapy at North Central University and her master's degree in clinical mental health counseling in New York at Long Island University, CW Post. Again, she loves what she does. She's lived in California, she's lived in New York, and she's now in Las Vegas. We're so excited to welcome her to our show. Let's welcome her live and direct from Vegas. Dr. Bell, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
How are you? All the lovelies are here. They're all sitting at attention. They're all excited. This is fantastic, and so excited to talk with you because we've mentioned this show often on this show often and elsewhere in my professional work: empathy, kindness, respect, essentials. And I've said often, doctor, that I think, and I'm hoping that out of the pandemic and the civil unrest and the economic situation and all the political craziness, that we are going to rise from the ashes of all of this more empathetic, more kinder, more respectful, more unified, coming together, trying to solve problems together, because we're not always all going to get what we want, but maybe there's ways we can come at least to the table and figure out what we can do together, because the world, as we know, spins a lot smoother on its axis when there's balance, when there's harmony, when there's unification. And I think that with the pandemic, what happened was three things came together, three energies, that being the divine mother nature, planet earth didn't like the way humans were treating each other, said in 2020 we're going to shut things down, we're going to throw a few major things at them and see how they come out of it. Will they work together? Will they pull apart? What will they do? What are the teachable moments? What are they going to learn from all of these major things that they're experiencing? So I think those three energies were not too happy with the way we were headed, the way we were treating each other or not treating each other, and threw a few major things at us to see how we get through it. And we've seen the best of the best. We've seen the worst of the worst, but there's always hope, right, doctor?
Absolutely.
How have you been getting through it all?
Well, working on my book is one that's been a saving grace. And, really, I've actually kind of enjoyed the pandemic. It's given me a little bit of quiet that I haven't had in a long time, permission to slow down and just kind of enjoy a little bit. I don't know for you guys. And I know for some folks, like too much silence, it's been really hard, really painful, some isolation. But I've stayed with my practice the whole time. In fact, the need for support and connection during the pandemic has been super important. So it's kept me busy and on my toes.
So, what are some of the things you've been saying to your clients to help them, to guide them through all of this and through the confusion of it all?
Don't watch the news,
Yeah.
which there's actually studies on that that show
Yeah.
you that people who watch the news have higher levels of stress and they don't live as long.
That's
So
very true.
that makes a good case for it. But, the hardship is that with the pandemic, a lot of people have been forced to face issues that they've been avoiding and running away from. And so it's where a lot of people, the divorce statistics have been going up. Well,
Yeah.
It's possible that those folks might have gotten divorced anyway. Unfortunately, it just took a pandemic for them to be locked in together to face the issues they've been running away from. So,
Exactly right.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's sort of a lot of things came to a boiling point, and maybe that's a healthy thing to have experienced that, and maybe they were just sweeping it under the rug, and now you sort of got to face the music and decide what to do from there. I want to show you some.
It can be so empowering to face
Yes,
it though. I mean, to really like decide to face your fears, to face your demons down, the thing that you've been avoiding, to just decide to grab control, take life on your own terms and see it through can feel so incredibly empowering.
that's right. Absolutely right. And that's very important to take the opportunity, because this has been a great pause for all of us in our life, and a lot of people have been also reevaluating what they want to do with the rest of their lives and the next chapter in their careers. You're talking about this corporate culture exodus that's been happening. People have been saying, you know what, I've been punching the clock, I've been serving, the mothership, but I haven't been serving my heart and soul.
Mhm.
And I'm sure some of your clients have been talking about that, toying with the idea of a master shift in their life.
Mhm.
Some fearful to do it because maybe there's those creature comforts of the benefits and the income and the
Mhm.
different things. But then others saying, there's something empty. And now that I've had this time away and time at
Mhm.
home, and there are other things in life that are actually more important. That's
Mhm.
the family connection, building
Yeah.
and fostering relationships and internal happiness, right?
There's nothing like an existential event to quite remind people about the importance of meaning in life. And you're right. I love what you're saying. Is that a lot of folks have really come to this place where they're finally able to face that maybe I've been punching a clock and working to earn an income to buy things that maybe are valuable or costly, but yet they don't actually bring me a lot of meaning and value. And maybe my job is something that's sucking my soul rather than feeding it.
Yeah,
And so,
right.
being able to face that down, being willing to even make a change takes a tremendous amount of courage, but it is so important. And I tell my clients all the time, as long as there's breath in your body, it is never too late to do something that feeds your soul. I mean, why waste another moment working in a career that drains your soul when you could be working in a career that feeds it?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Speaking of feeding the soul, as I mentioned on this show, we have a lot of levity, which is a word that gets banted around a lot because I was saying the show has a lot of light, love, and levity last year. And I said the love and levity part too fast. So levity was
Mhm.
developed. And the audience fell in love with the levity, which has been fantastic, especially through the pandemic, but even beyond. It's now part of the almost branding of the show. I want to show you some of the comments that are coming in here as they welcome you to the show. Alessandra in North Carolina says, I'm glad that you're the guest tonight, Dr. Bell. Uh, and it's
Thank you.
Alessandra. And Anne in Florida says, welcome, Dr. Bugatti. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say tonight.
And I
Uh,
love Florida. That's my other favorite place
is
on earth.
Florida.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So the places you love are
Connecticut and Florida.
Connecticut and Florida. But you hail from California originally, right?
Yes, yes. I am originally a California girl. I'm
What
only
part?
proud because of the Beach Boys song, Southern California. I was born
Southern,
in
yeah.
Anaheim and I grew up in
Yeah.
the high desert, but I got out just in time and it's a beautiful place, but I don't like the taxes or the politics,
The
so I
taxes or the
got out.
politics. Right, exactly. Juanita says, definitely need a book for difficult people. Absolutely. She's in South Africa. Linda
Mhm.
in Florida as well, St. Augustine. Good evening, Dr.
Oh,
Annabella Bugatti. You're now a Lovety. So you've been dubbed a Lovety on the show already within
why,
what,
thank
10 minutes?
you. I'm so excited to be part of the club. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I
Part of
love
the
how
family.
warm and welcoming everybody is. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
That's the atmosphere that I wanted to create when I turned the lights on and created the show a year and 4 months ago, extending from my professional work. And it seems to be People are needing it and wanting it. And I'm so happy. Welcome to the show, Dr. Bugatti, from, again, Juanita. Mary is also in Florida, saying hello and welcome. Kathleen in New York City, welcoming you. Sherry Larson in Kansas, welcoming you as well. Really nice to see all these coming in here. You're
I
my
love how
kind
you
of
called me a
levity.
I love how you called me a post toasty. I love that.
Yes, that's our internal sort of right. Exactly. Going to the same college. Exactly. Yeah. Whenever I have post cereals, remember the little dollhouse on the campus too. They had
Mhm,
that.
mhm,
That was Dina Merrill's playhouse when she was a kid.
mhm. And the administrative offices are
That
in the
big mansion.
old Tudor style home. It's I don't know what it is about cereal companies and endowments for schools, but my brother went to Cal Poly Pomona and their school was endowed by the Kellogg family. So they had the
See,
Kellogg mansion on there.
and
So
then I'm sure probably Michigan area, Battle Creek. It's probably General Mills sponsors
mhm,
some of the schools as well. Uh, Great comments coming in here. Alessandra actually does have a quick question. She's been going through a tough time lately. She says, here's a question. When you are wanting a divorce, then you asked for a divorce for the person, you've been married for a long time too. When does the crying stop? And another question, how do you stop the soon to be ex from getting you angry? So it looks like there's a divorce that's in the works. How do you stop from crying? And how do you pause the ex from, I guess, getting you angry?
mhm. Well, first, let me just say, I'm really sorry for the divorce and it's painful. And there are many folks who got a divorce, some who wanted their divorce, some who didn't. Regardless of whether you wanted it or not, even from personal experience, divorce is by far one of the most painful experiences you can go through in your adult life. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, having experienced the pain of divorce myself. Um, in terms of so kind of multiple things. A is it's healthy to cry. Crying is a part of grief, it's a part of sadness, it can even be a part of anger, and it's healthy to let yourself express the grief. And especially if you've been in a long relationship, crying and allowing yourself to have grief and expel that grief is so much healthier for you than to hold it in and keep it on the inside. And it's a sign that something really mattered to you. What I can say is that the pain won't last forever. One day the sun will shine again, and you will brush yourself off, and you will carry on, and you won't remember the pain. And I
She's
can't
saying 22 years of marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a long time. It's a long commitment, and it's going to take time to grieve that. And don't be in a rush. Don't let anyone tell you you should hurry up and feel better because that's not healthy either. It's a 22-year marriage that just doesn't go away overnight. It's okay to be sad. Don't turn to drinking or drugs or, you know, over shopping or, get together with other folks who have been through what you're going through. Find some good friends that you can turn to, that you can talk to, that you can share the grief with. I think sometimes it's harder to grieve the loss of the living because they're still roaming the planet somewhere. And that can be incredibly painful. But it is necessary to go through grief. And when we try to cut short our grief, we end up packing in that grief in our emotional baggage and taking that
Hmm.
into the next relationship, which does not bode well. And it ends up coming out in all sorts of ways and all sorts of healthy ways that we don't end up having much control over. So don't let anyone tell you to stop crying. Um, but I do promise eventually it will get better. It won't always hurt as much. Um, but
She says, I'm not in a rush, which
mhm,
is good. And she said she's doing things to keep busy. That helps,
yeah,
which is beautiful. And Linda Odell also is saying big hugs. She was married 22 years and
yeah.
divorced
Yeah.
as
It's
well.
okay to let yourself cry. Call up a really good friend and let yourself cry with them. Let somebody witness your pain. That's also very soothing and very healing, and just let yourself go through that grieving process. Find some healthy activities that make you happy. I know one of the ways that when I went through a divorce helped me is I used to paint pottery. Um,
Mm,
I would get really, at first, I would go in and I'd start painting, and I would have friends come with me, and I just want to talk out the details and kind of beat it to death. But then
yeah.
I found as I got into the details of the design I was painting, I kind of got lost into it, and then I forgot all about it, and it became very soothing. So I used to have a really big collection of paint your own pottery that looked like a preschooler painted it, but it was soothing and it
But
worked.
yeah, it worked through. You got, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was one of the healthy ways to work through life's trials and
Mhm.
tribulations. I mentioned some of the wonderful things that you've done in your career, and obviously, uh, we're the blessed ones to be able to do work that we absolutely love, that also lifts and inspires other people through our own talents, through our own gifts that we share. Some we've tweaked and fine tuned, others just
Mhm.
given to us. Um, for you, what were some of those initial sources of inspiration that really pointed you in the direction of wanting to do work that guides people, that helps them through some of the more difficult and challenging times in life?
That's a good question. I've always loved being in relationship, and as I mentioned, I've been through the pain of divorce myself, and I went through marriage counseling. I've been through some fantastic marriage counseling. I've been through some awful marriage counseling before I was a therapist. And, it really definitely impacted me, and it taught me a lot about myself. And I've always loved psychology, and I really enjoy helping bring light to other people. I really enjoy helping people recognize the light that they have on the inside and helping them stoke it. So I wanted to be able to help people to take the pain that I went through and help people who found themselves in similar situations and help give them hope and bring some light to something that could be a very dark place.
Juanita says, "Is the grief also sometimes because you feel you've wasted so many years?"
The grief you're going to feel over the end of a relationship is going to hit you on so many fronts. It's the loss of the relationship you had. Oftentimes, it's the loss of the relationship you thought you had, but found out you didn't. It's the loss of the identity as a married person, as a married person in this particular family. It's the loss of that family unit, like the in-laws, the friend circle, the social circle. Sometimes those end as well. It's the loss of the future plans that you guys had all mapped out. It's going to hit you on a lot of fronts. And one of the things you can do as you rise out of it, and there's a great book on this too, Rising Strong by Brene Brown. And I love what she says in the book. She says, really like taking control of how you get through grief, of how you rise out of adversity, helps you avoid being written in as a character in someone else's version of your story. And I thought that was really amazing and very empowering. And something that I embraced myself was, who do I want to be coming out of this? I cannot control that this happened. It sucks. It's awful. It's something I have to go through. It's not what I wanted, but it is something that's happening. But how can I be better as a result of this? Even if you didn't want it to end, that's okay. Can allow yourself permission to grieve the loss of that relationship, to treasure the good parts, but decide how you want to get through this. What kind of a person do you want to be on the other side of the grief? And focus your efforts on, how can I learn whatever it is that I need to learn from this, make myself the best and healthiest I can be so that I can get out there and I can get back on the horse and have the kind of life. This chapter may be over, it may be devastating, but it doesn't have to be the end of my book. and I can go out there and I can find love again. I can have that amazing love story, even if I thought I had it. And one of the things that's going to be kind of funny. One of the things that helped me get through it was to look at the silver linings, like all
Hmm.
the things that I could do now that I couldn't do
Couldn't do,
in
right?
marriage. Like my ex didn't like buttered popcorn, like in the movie theater. I'm like, who the heck doesn't like butter on their popcorn? So for the entirety of our relationship, I could not have butter on my
Butter
movie
on
theater
the
popcorn.
popcorn.
I know that sounds like kind of silly, but that was like the small things I had to hang on to. Like, look, I finally get to have butter on my popcorn. You find those small things, those small wins every single day, and it becomes the thing that you hold on to. And sometimes those are your life raft, but eventually it becomes a practice, and those
Now
things
you
get
ask for
bigger.
extra butter, don't you?
Yes, right? But eventually those things turn into bigger things and they last longer and it gets better and there's more space in between the grief and the pain. But anger, grief, sadness, it's all a part of it. It's normal, it's natural. Let yourself go through it. It sucks. It's supposed to suck. Good news is it didn't kill you. Although one of my favorite movies says it's almost cruel that it doesn't.
Right.
Because it feels like you should have died because the pain is so bad. And that is true, but be with others who have gone through it, like just knowing that other people have gone through this and have survived it can be very comforting and very soothing as you make your exodus out of it. But I promise the sun will shine again for you.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. Absolutely. Um, you know, we're talking about difficult people, and for some, if not many, dealing with those who are difficult or we consider difficult can be extremely challenging. I know that you like to talk a little bit about from canceling to connecting, how to connect with people as opposed to canceling them out who are difficult to connect with. What are some ways that you can really do that? I know even and again, probably just my way of being, I do try multiple ways to connect. If it doesn't work the initial way, I don't give up. I'll try to come in and land, the plane here. And if that's not working, I'll try to swoop in this way, or I'll try to come in, from underwater or whatever it is. I
Mhm.
try different approaches, different attempts to reach the person, connect with the person. Sometimes it's through humor. That's one of the main things I do because the Irish side of me, it just comes out naturally. But humor, relatable conversations, showing interest in the person who's difficult. But there are times when I've actually been told, well, Jim, just give up. Just that person is always going to be that way. That person, their home life wasn't that great or whatever. So you're exhausting yourself. You're wasting time. Refocus on this over here or on that. And I've actually been told a couple of times to move on from trying to win that person over or trying to at least reach them to let them know that I would be the one that would stop and help you with your flat tire if I see you stuck on the road, that kind of thing. So it can be a little interesting when you're dealing with difficult people because if you are trying so many different ways to reach them, and you're tweaking yourself to try to meet them at their place all the time, that can get quite exhausting too, right?
Mhm. Well, and absolutely. You want to make sure that you don't end up tweaking yourself. You shouldn't have to be disingenuous to who you are or change your personality. Doesn't mean you can't change your approach. Really, the art is of attunement. And my book that I wrote, so by the title, using relentless empathy with difficult, challenging, and difficult clients, is really written. When you read the cover, you'll think it's written mostly to therapists, but I've had doctors, nurses, CEOs read it, anyone who interacts with other human beings. And I talk about different types of difficult personalities that we come across. And the last chapter is about how to apply everything to you. Because when you're like a boss or a supervisor or a therapist, a lay counselor, it's easier to tell other people how to do this with the difficult people in their life. But then applying that to you when it's a difficult person in your life, or maybe you're the difficult person in someone else's life, is a little bit different. But what you're really talking about is not changing your personality to try to win someone over. The way you win someone over is by seeing into their heart. And some people are very guarded and blocked from letting people see what's in there because they've had a lot of terrible experiences that have taught them that if you let people close, they're going to hurt you. They're going to abandon you and reject you. They're not going to like what they see. So people work very hard to keep others out. And it's not because they are hateful, awful people, even though they may seem like that on the outside. They're people in a massive amount of pain. And, you know, sometimes the only way to be able to connect with somebody who on the surface you really don't see an avenue for connection is just to try to step in their shoes and understand what is it that they're seeking or wanting or after in their heart of hearts. What are they really saying here? And that's been incredibly powerful and helpful for me. And it's a little easier as an attachment therapist understanding attachment science, which anybody can understand attachment science. There is great books out there.
How do you define what it is?
Attachment?
Yeah.
This is a universal survival need for connection. It's not a luxury. This is actually a need that is neurologically hardwired into the human psyche, into the human body, even our physiology, where bonding is an actual survival need. It's an instinct, it's a need. It is not a luxury, it's not just this nice thing. It is actually wired into our survival needs. And it's timeless, it's universal, it's ageless, it's genderless. It's the one unifying human experience and human need. And, you know, especially during times like this with politics and social media, people couldn't be more divided. You have people within their own household who like refuse to see their own family members let them into their house because of who they voted for. And yet we're supposed to be so tolerant. That's not tolerance, right?
No, it isn't.
Tolerance means there's room for how you feel and how I feel, even if those things are different, and we can still be in connection. And I had some mentors who were blasting some things out on Facebook that really shocked me and felt very hurtful. And I was very surprised. But I used the principles that I talk about in my book, and using attachment science, it makes it so much easier for me to understand human beings and why they do the things that they do. So it's so much easier to have empathy for them. So I can see through what I see on the surface and just go to what's in their heart. And sometimes, you know, people wear their heart on their sleeve, it's much easier. Or some people, even on the surface, they're easy to relate to. But other people, they're a lot more complicated, a lot more complex. So you have to weed through the stuff on the surface to try to get to what is it that they're really saying from their heart? What do they really want? Or what's their message from their heart? And that's what I listen to. They may fundamentally disagree about how we get there, how that plays out, which is fine. But, you know, finding out what's in their heart, I've actually found out from a lot of people who on the surface seemed very difficult and very different, that in our heart of hearts, we actually felt very much the same. And that was pretty cool. And so that was the way that I was able to be in that relationship without just writing that person off like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're this way, I'm just going to defriend them. And that's what's happened is, oh, you voted for this person, we're going to cancel you, we're going to close your social media accounts, we're going to fire you from this job, which does not feel fair. I mean, this America, like, free speech, right? Empathy. Where's the empathy and the tolerance where we're making room for both?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I agree 100%. I'm on the same train as you, doctor.
And not all, we don't have the luxury of canceling all relationships. Some of them are relationships we have to be in. Like if it's a coworker, you can't just not be there unless you just don't want to work, right? So,
Exactly.
in some relationships we want to be able to be and we don't want to have to cancel them. So,
That's
using
right.
these principles, I teach you ways to understand human beings in a way that makes it easier to have empathy, a way to find a way into their heart so that you can see what they're after, which makes it easier to be patient and tolerant, even if on the surface you fundamentally disagree with how that should look.
So, using the attachment science in business to reshape toxic work
Mhm.
environments and help distress business environments
Mhm.
is really, really crucial and very effective. Also, you talk about how to have uncomfortable conversations that are actually productive. Tell us about
Mhm.
that.
Well, kind of the same principle, not all relationships are ones that you have the luxury of canceling. So if you're in business and you need to run your business, which means you need to have consumers, you have a product that you need to sell. If you have an angry customer, an irate customer who's getting in your face, you can't just write them off because they could go on and write a nasty review about you online, which unfortunately that really sucks that
That's a
is
whole
a
new
thing.
world there, too.
Yeah, yeah. But, what ends up happening is when you just spend a little time with that person and help them feel like their needs, their voice is being heard and understood, even if they're saying it in a really obnoxious way, right? Anger is just a protest to be heard and understood. So the most powerful thing you can do is lean in and hear and understand, what is your anger trying to say to me? And can you get that? When you can like pull out the heart of their anger and reflect it back to them, a lot of times people really diffuse, like, oh man, you get me, because their anger doesn't need to fight as hard anymore to be heard and understood. And
Right.
so when you do that, you can take your customers who might be in that interaction the most obnoxious and end up turning them into the most loyal customers that you'll ever have.
Yeah. It can really be a challenge, which can be exciting. You can
Mhm.
look at it as taking the lemons and turning them into lemonade. You also talk about, which we've been threading throughout the conversation, how to use empathy to create that connection with the challenging or difficult people. And there is this the sponge versus the mirror, how being an empath is not the same as having empathy, right? Some people roll that all into one ball of wax. Tell us a little bit about that, the sponge versus the mirror. I
Well,
like
thank
that.
thank you for reading my book.
Yes.
So, in my book, I talk about empaths, what it means to be an empath versus having empathy. Being an empath simply means that you feel the emotions of those around you. And if you talk to most empaths, they talk about how draining that is. And yes, it can be exhausting. And that's part of the problem, is that empaths are acting as a sponge and they are absorbing the emotions of people around them, meaning I'm kind of taking that on as my burden to carry, as my responsibility, rather than just kind of like being a mirror. I think of a mirror as like an echo chamber, like refraction. The light comes to you and it goes through you and bounces back to that person. So you're reflecting back the empathy, you're allowing their pain to come to you. You don't dismiss it, you don't send it away, but you also don't absorb it like you're a sponge. Because when you're a sponge, you're being weighed down by it. And then it becomes about you, right? Because you've taken that on as part of yourself rather than, so feeling the emotions around you doesn't necessarily mean you are actually having empathy. If I'm feeling weighed down, I'm not going to be emotionally present with you. And to have empathy is the most powerful form of understanding that you can offer another human being on a very emotional, visceral level. And if I'm weighed down, I'm not going to be present with you, giving you that understanding. I'm being hijacked by it and drained, and then I have to go and take care of myself. Empathy is a pro relationship building behavior. So when you're being weighed down, you're not doing that in service of the relationship, because now you're hijacked and taken away where you
Mm,
can't be with them. But when you're more of a mirror, so you're not absorbing that emotion, you're letting it come through you like an echo chamber and bouncing back. You're giving it back to them in the form of empathy in a way that helps them feel heard and understood and cared for on the deepest level available to another human being. And then it builds that connection, helps that person be soothed and calm down, and you don't end up feeling weighed down by it. So you can still be true to yourself, the person who can pick up the feelings of those around you, but instead of being weighed down by it, you're actually using it in a productive and positive way to serve and benefit relationships.
The other thing too, which I think is really amazing, there's been a monumental shift in the definition of a leader. Leaders, I think, are realizing that rolling up the sleeves and bringing in, the people from all ranks of an organization,
Mhm.
whatever it may be, and listening to their ideas and bouncing off the ideas and showing more care and concern and kindness and empathy seems to be the way that people are headed. And those, I think, are leaders that tend to get the results. People want to follow them as opposed to that leader, quote unquote, boss. Even that word boss is sort of slipping away up in the ivory tower looking down at everybody. The understanding that a more empathetic listening ear
Mhm.
will result in more happiness within the group, more profitability, productivity, all of those things, because people feel invested, people feel appreciated. Sometimes people just want to be heard and appreciated. So that
Yeah.
definition of leader has been changing in a positive way, and one that people actually want to follow, right?
Yeah, when people feel cared for, they are more productive, they're more resilient. When people have a bad experience at work, when they don't feel valued or cared for by their boss, when they feel about this small, again, emotionally that impacts them, and that also affects the body. Guess what? They're getting sick more often, they're dreading coming to work, so they're calling out more often. You're having high turnover, people are leaving their work environments because of their immediate boss or supervisor, which costs the company more money to train and rehire new employees and severance packages and all this. So, there definitely is a cost benefit analysis there. But people are also, our culture has shifted, that people aren't choosing jobs anymore simply on the basis of survival like they were at the baby boomer generation. People are more enlightened and we're not all in survival mode. So we have the ability to think about how we derive meaning in our life. And, you have two schools of thought. Do I just go to work and earn money to do what I find meaningful outside of work? Or the other schools of thought, which is I spend so much of my life and my time at work that I spend too much to not do something that I find meaningful. So you have more people really trying to find a sense of meaning through their work. And it's hard to find meaning when you don't feel appreciated, when you feel taken advantage of, rejected, um, made to feel this small. So, being able to be a good leader that inspires and encourages and stokes and awakens people's potential is somebody who is able to have empathy, who doesn't just rule by fear.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kathleen in New York City says, yes, feeling unappreciated at work is horrible, especially when you're a good worker. Mona
Mhm.
says, and especially if they're family, sometimes you're
Yes.
working with your family as well. And Juanita in South Africa says, great way to look at angry customers. She works in property. So loads of landlords, tenants to deal with. That can always be an interesting situation.
Mhm.
And Kathleen asks, how would you, as an expert, define a toxic relationship? She has her own ideas, but interested in what you think toxic relationships are, how you actually define them. Is it the first thing probably people think of is yelling and screaming and all of that, but not necessarily, right?
Not necessarily. I think a toxic relationship is one in which there are unhealthy, hurtful, destructive behaviors happening. The people around them are reflecting that these are happening, and yet the person is unwilling to change those,
Yeah,
unwilling to even examine that they're causing hurt to other people. And
yeah,
part of the toxicity can be on the end of the person who is being mistreated, who's asked for the change, who's done all the work, and yet the other person is unwilling to participate, but they stay anyway and allow themselves to continue to be used and abused. And I know this is not victim blaming. That's not what I'm saying. Not at all. But it's a system. And, when you know that it's happening and yet do nothing about it can also be just as damaging as the person who knows that they're doing it and they're doing it anyway, even though it hurts other people.
Absolutely. And I've always said, you're not weak, you're not vulnerable when you reach out for help. That's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. One of the best investments you can make ever in your
Mhm.
existence is investing in yourself. So if you raise your hand in class, or if you have a
Mhm.
question, or you want to reach out, that's not a sign of weakness. Kindness is not a sign of weakness.
No.
Good person is not a sign of
Mhm.
weakness. Those are actually signs to me of real strength.
It takes an act of courage to be able to say, we need help, or I need help, I'm in over my head. And it takes a lot of courage to say, hey, you know what? People in my life keep feeling hurt by me, and I don't understand it, but I don't want people to be hurt by me. Let me see if I can figure out what's happening so that I don't do those things. And it's hard to hear when you've hurt somebody.
Yeah.
It is really hard, and it hurts our pride, and it kind of hedges on personal beliefs we have about ourselves. We're afraid that if we have hurt someone, that it means somehow we're a bad person, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. um, you know Letting yourself be impacted and let someone else's hurt help you make more effective, healthier decisions is actually a sign of strength, and a sign of courage, and a sign of being a good person, because bad people don't feel bad when they hurt other people. So the fact that you feel bad means you're actually a good person on the
Right.
inside. So
Right.
it's important to allow yourself to take in that information, but you also don't want to enable. If people are being hurtful and you're saying, hey, that really hurt my feelings, I don't appreciate that, would you please not do that again, and yet they continue to do it, and they're not willing to participate in the health of the relationship, then you've got some other decisions to make.
And also, it's very important to say what you mean and mean what you say, right?
Absolutely. But you wouldn't believe how difficult that is. Most people do double talk. They don't say what they mean, but yet they want people to understand from what they say what they mean. And so oftentimes people will say something, someone will hear it differently, they'll repeat it back, and they're like, well, no, what I meant to say is, well, why didn't you say that the first time? Because saying what you really mean is vulnerable, and it puts yourself out there, and put yourself out there honestly, and can lead you open to being rejected, which is scary and risky. But you've got to decide to be that way because of your own personal ethic and
Yeah.
just how you want to be as a good character and move through this life. And you've got to do the best that you can to mean what you say, to not double talk, to not slice it or bury it or disguise it. If you're feeling hurt, say that you're hurt,
Yeah.
right? Don't beat
Right.
around the bush and say 10,000 other things or allude to the fact that you're hurt. Just say it,
Just come
right?
right out.
Yeah.
Right.
And even when you communicate like a saint, again, you have to factor in that other people aren't always healthy and may not communicate healthy in a healthful way back. But again, it comes back to, I'm going to make a commitment to do this because I know it's the right thing to do, and I'll have peace on the inside that I communicated myself effectively and clearly, and then I don't have to feel bad, and I also don't let myself be manipulated because I know
Right.
that I did it the right way.
We have this wonderful thing here called the empathy art. Tell us about this.
The empathy art. This is the first time I'm seeing this.
Yeah, this was sent along with everything else. Skills strengthened by empathy, feeling safe, emotional connection, identifying needs, negotiation, collaboration, and
Mhm.
creativity.
Yeah, all of these are nurtured when you have empathy, when you're open to empathy, when you're showing empathy to other people, then it stokes your own creativity. It helps you feel safe. but when you're also receiving somebody's empathy, right? When you feel like somebody gets you and understands you on the deepest level possible, it's so much easier because your body doesn't have to go into survival mode. So it's open neurologically to higher functions like creativity when you feel safe, and you can be far more productive because you're not you're not pulled in this direction of feeling bad, feeling disconnected, feeling rejected. So you're going to be able to focus your energy on the task at hand rather than the feeling so terrible. And your creative juices are going to come to light, and you're more likely to take risks by trying new things and not worried so much about, well, what if I try this new thing and I don't get it right or I fail? You're not going to it's not going to matter as much because you're going to feel that kindness and connection from those around you.
Exactly. What, when you wrote the book, what was the inspiration for writing the book? And what are some things that you hope people are left with when they read this book? And congratulations on the book as well, Doctor. I know it's been a labor of love for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, so, and I'm going to have to hop off here in just a moment
Yeah,
because I do
yeah.
have clients
Now
waiting.
we'll have you back. We'll go deeper down the line. You're always welcome to come back.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it. It's been fun to hang with you guys today. So, really, the inspiration for my book came from the time spent on social media, listening to others in my profession start to judge what to me was very obvious as judgment of their clients, of the struggle, kind of condemnation, and saying that people were beyond hope, seeing the cancel culture, all of it just really hurt my heart in a big way. And I thought, you know what, there's something that we've got to do about this because if we don't learn how to do this better, if we don't learn how to connect, that will be the end of our humanity. So I wanted to find a way to help share some of the light to other people to light up a dark place when it comes to challenging and difficult people so that we can find a way to relate to each other's humanity, to create connection, so we don't devour each other from the inside out.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully said. And of course, you talk in the book about how to become a master communicator as well. The book itself, is it available on Amazon? Where could people find it?
Absolutely. Amazon.com. You can type in the search bar on Amazon Relentless Empathy. You can also go to my website, drbelle.com, DRBELLE.com, and there will be a link to my book on there as well. You can order Amazon Prime. It's like $32. And it's really cool. I even had my IT guy read it and he loved it. So,
You even got the IT guy. That's
yeah.
fantastic. Show you quickly. Anne says, this has been a very interesting evening. Thank you for sharing with us your wisdom. And Maureen says, thank you, Dr. Bell, for being with us. It's been short, but incredibly insightful. Mary Bishop in Florida. Wonderful conversation, Dr. Bell. Take care. Alessandra, thank you, Dr. Bell. I really appreciate the help. Juanita in South Africa, great having you, spending the time with us, Dr. Bell. Thank you. Sherry Larson in Kansas. Thank you, Dr. Bugatti, for sharing your time and wisdom with us. Linda in Florida, thank you for coming on the Lovity Show. Please do come back. Austin Fields says another great show. Kathleen Walker in New York says, thank you, Doctor, for being here. Really cool stuff. Thank you guys for all your great
Thank
comments
you.
and for all the levity. And Mona saying, thank you, Dr. Bell, for your time. Nice meeting you. Please come back. We will definitely keep the porch light on for you, Doctor. It really was a blessing and an honor to have you here with us. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me and us as much as I certainly have with you.
I really enjoyed connecting with you and talking with you. And thank you so much again to all the viewers, just for all of the love and the warmth that you guys have offered. And, if anything you take away, it's that it's never too late to experience light in a dark place. And, you can visit my website and find out more. I have a YouTube channel, We Heart Therapy, and you guys can hop on there and watch some more videos. And hopefully you check out my book. But thank you so much, everyone, for having me with you. And it's been such an honor to talk with you tonight.
You as well, Doctor. Your continued blessings and joys in your life. Let's stay connected. I hope we meet in person at some point. That would be a real pleasure as well. And thanks for spending the time with us this evening. It was terrific.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And go Post Toasties.
Yay.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Post Toasties, because we went to the same college, Long Island University, CW Post College, and Post is the name of the cereal company, Post Raisin Bran and all those. That's where the Post Toasties comes in from. She and I went to the same college in New York. Amazing. We thank her for being with us. Thanks for all the great questions you guys had. She had a client that appointment, so we wanted to squeeze in. Hey, April Premier is here. Welcome, April Premier. Wonderful to have you with us on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing and that you'll join us again. And if you missed any of our episodes, we have over 440 episodes to watch and to enjoy here on our series, our YouTube channel, and give a thumbs up. If you guys enjoyed this episode, you can watch it again on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Definitely give it a thumbs up on our YouTube channel. Leave a comment for us as well. And hopefully you got some inspiration. Maybe this lifted your spirits. And we talked a lot about empathy and a whole host of great things on this show, on this episode, and hope maybe it perked up your spirits. Good to see you, April Premier. Thank you for having Dr. Bell. My pleasure. As I said, the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series really has something for everyone. Every show is something different. Every show is something unique. Every show is something extra special. And we love having an opportunity to present all of these shows and all of these episodes for all of you. It really is a blessing. Really, really love it. Mona says, what a great show, Jim. Thank you so much. I will watch the replay. My pleasure. Juanita says, great guest once more, Jim. Very kind and wise. I agree, Juanita. And great show. Thanks, Jim. My pleasure as well. Love it, love it, love it. Yes. So good to have you with us, April Premier. And you know what you can do is always check our YouTube channel. You'll find the links on our YouTube channel. So if you want to know about upcoming episodes like this one here, check out the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and you can see some of the upcoming episodes and the guests, and the links are there as well. Facebook is a little tricky sometimes. There's a little battle between YouTube and Facebook, I think. Facebook not liking a lot of YouTube links for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, you can always keep abreast of all the upcoming episodes and past episodes right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Great show, Jim. Loved it. Thank you, Linda Odell in Florida, and a wonderful show, Jim. Sherry Larson in Kansas. As I said, we do something different on every show. It isn't just entertainment. It isn't just talk. It isn't just lifestyle. It's all encompassing. That's a real variety talk show, and the way the old school shows used to do it. This was interesting, Jim. Great, Jane. Appreciate that. And Mary says, another great show. Good night, all. You too as well. Maureen says, I'm touched by the support for each other in this squad, the Lovity Squad. Yet another reason I love you all so much. Thank you very much. I want to show you, we've got some amazing guests coming up. Really exciting. Coming up in about 2 weeks, Dina Martin, singer and actress, daughter of Hollywood legend Dean Martin, is coming on our show. That's right. It's going to be at a special time. That's Tuesday, August 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific, a special time. Dina is a dear friend. We've known each other for quite some time, and she's an amazing singer and actress. Again, she's the daughter of the legendary Dean Martin. She's coming on our show in just about 2 weeks. And next Wednesday, actually a week from tonight, Canadian platinum selling crooner and jazz vocalist Matt Dusk is joining us. I interviewed him a couple of years back on PBS television here in America for one of his PBS specials. He's very popular. He has gold records, platinum records, Juno nominations. He's a crooner. He's a jazz vocalist. He's all excited. It's going to be great catching up with my buddy Matt because, again, I interviewed him a couple of years ago on PBS television here in the States, and now he's coming on the Jim Masters Show Live, and we're all excited about that. That is coming up next Wednesday. So for those of you watching live, catch us next Wednesday as well. We're really, really looking forward to that. Now, tomorrow night, we've got amazing guests. We have award-winning executive producers of the Emmy-nominated Christmas film, the new Christmas film that's coming out, Rekindling Christmas. Rebecca and James Ganieri is going to be with us. They're both going to be with us. Rebecca is a best-selling novelist, writer extraordinaire, and James is an award-winning executive producer, director, writer as well. They're a husband and wife team. They're going to be with us coming up tomorrow on the Jim Masters Show live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. On Friday, pop and country music singer and musician Samantha Taylor's with us live. She's all excited. We were chatting today. She can't wait to be here with all of us coming up on Friday of this week. It's going to be really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to welcoming her to the Jim Masters Show live. Gang, our channel is Jim Masters TV. It's a YouTube channel dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to it and click that notification bell so you never miss an episode of our show. Some other upcoming guests, Kimberly Faye Greenberg is going to be with us, actress and Broadway expert. She's going to be with us as well. Award-winning Hollywood film director, screenwriter, producer Bruce Reisman is going to be with us on the Jim Masters Show live coming up in just about 2 weeks as well. We're really looking forward to that. That's going to be fantastic. We'll have that date for you real soon. So keep a lookout for that. And many, many, many more guests. Lots of surprises coming up for all of you here on the Jim Masters Show live. Good night, Jane, as well. And sending prayers to Kathleen Madison Hospital again, not feeling well, waiting for more tests. We'll give you, a thumbs up, positive sign here. And some of our famous Jim Masters Show levity prayers for Matt and for the family as well. Thank you, Jim, and hugs everyone. Great guests we have coming up for sure. Great show as always. Thank you very much, Kathy. Have a wonderful night, Jim. You too as well. So check out our YouTube channel if you want to see some of the other guests that are coming up. And we have more and more and more. We're booked all the way to just about the end of September. We've got some amazing conversations and some surprise pop-up shows, on-location shows, and a lot of cool things coming up. Gang, don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the levity. Don't forget to find that Zen place for you. Of course, you guys know I love the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing. You got to yank me out of the ocean. I love it so much. And of course, my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years, also all Zen places for me. So find your Zen place and share your love of life with the world. Good night, dear Jim and loveties everywhere. Tight hugs going out to all of you. One of our famous lovety hugs as well. And to Juanita, you as well in South Africa. Gang, you're the best. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Really great conversation on empathy, family, friends, collaborating, creating, dealing with difficult people, and so much more. We all sometimes have to do that, and it's not that easy without pulling your hair out. But maybe we picked up some good tips tonight with our very special guest, Dr. Anabelle Bugatti, relationship expert, psychotherapist, licensed marriage and family therapist. There's the book as well, Using Relentless Empathy in the Therapeutic Relationship, connecting with challenging and resistant people, or clients in this case. Really cool. And again, that empathy art, if you never saw that before, and it was a great surprise to the doctor too. There's your skills strengthened by empathy. Helps you feel safe, helps boost your creativity, helps you collaborate, negotiate, emotional connections, and identifying needs as well. We're going to be expanding on the Jim Masters, on Jim Masters TV on our channel. Some other cool things in relation to all of this, so keep watch of that. If you're also looking for more inspiration, check out our series on YouTube, Masters Mantras, some visual and verbal eye candy that we present for you. Short little 60-second to 2-minute videos of usually visually stunning locations with some light verbiage, and they're very inspirational. They're sort of like short TikTok videos, but a little bit more on our YouTube channel right here. scroll down and you'll see Masters Mantras, the video series, and enjoy some of those scenic and picturesque videos that we offer up for all of you as well. That's in addition to the Jim Masters Show Live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Good stuff. Mona says, good night, Jim, and all the lovelies. Hugs to all. So glad to be here tonight to see everyone. Thanks again. Love what you have on. Look great as always. Thank you very much. Got sort of like a zip up sweater vest, which is nice. And this shirt here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice and comfortable. It's a J. Crew. I know you guys sometimes ask. A J. Crew sweater vest and a Ralph Lauren shirt. So very perfect and appropriate for tonight's conversation. Warm and comfy. Talking about empathy. Thanks, all. Have a great night. Good night, all. Kathleen, you too as well. Linda in Florida. Good to see you, Linda. Love all the lovelies. So glad we're all together like this. Thank you, Jim, and love the lovelies. We love you back. Linda Odell in FLA in Florida. Gang, we're going to wrap up. You guys truly are the best. It's always a pleasure to have you here. We'll be back tomorrow night. Great show tomorrow in store for all of you. We'll see you on the Facebook page as well, the Jim Masters Show. Lovety Hall on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. And of course, our YouTube channel where we house all these episodes. Thanks for being with us, gang. You're the very best. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.